What up, playa? I'm going to give you a brief rundown of my top 5 gods for the Hunter ADC role in SMITE. These are gods that we've been seeing a lot of success with in ranked and non-ranked. So let's go ahead and talk about them. And let's go ahead and go into the 5th position, which I feel belongs to 2 mages. First mage is Sol. She has a great kit in her. One of them being the Radiance. It's a self-heal sustain. Stellar Burst is a great minion wave clear. This is what you can use often. Disapparate is her ability to escape sticky situations. You know, she gains a movement speed buff. She damages anybody chasing her, and she becomes invulnerable to attacks for a short period of time. Very nice, especially if you know how to use it. You definitely want to activate her passive often, and what I mean by that is get it to 100% heat, so that her basic attacks gain a 24% damage increase. That's a lot for basic attacks. You will definitely outpoke the other ADC if you have that activated at 100%. It's going to hurt, especially if their support is being very aggressive or something like that. Her ultimate is nice. This is a AoE burst effect. You can steal objectives with it. You can hit people hiding underneath the tower. Overall, great damage. She is definitely back in the ADC role. Watch out. She hurts. The other god I want to mention is Chronos. With Chronos, it takes a little bit more practice to use him. He doesn't shine early game like Sol does, but his mid and especially late game, he does work. He has a lot of damage potential, and his kit allows him to just maximize it. So let's talk about his kit. First off, his passive. Early game, you generally want to just kind of land the Wheel of Time on section 1 and 2. You either get the heal back or you get the mana refund on abilities. Section 3 you just generally ignore, and then try to land section 4 when you get mid to late game, because that gives you a big increase to your basic attack, similar to Sol. His abilities overall, Time Rift. This is a great way to clear your camps, outpoke the other ADC, get those back archers. It does a lot of damage, and you can use it often because it has a very low cooldown. Accelerate. This is how you activate the Wheel of Time. When you activate the Wheel of Time, you activate it using Accelerate. This will give you a movement speed and an attack speed. Compare that with you pair that with the section 4, and your basic attacks hit really hard and fast. Stop time. You can use this as a wave clear, or you can use it as a way to set up for a Time Rift combo. You hit with this, it stuns them, does some damage, activate Time Rift under them. That's a lot of life lost. The potential in Chronos, I feel, relies sometimes a lot on his tower dive capabilities or his backdooring. When you get late game, you do a lot of damage, right? So his ultimate is called Rewind. This gives you a second life, if you will. Let's say you tower dive a tower, and you get about half life, but you're almost about to die. You activate Rewind. It gives you full life bar back. Your abilities are reset on cooldown, and you can just engage in that tower again to finish it off. A great way to steal objectives when nobody's watching. Backdooring that Phoenix, maybe. It's very situational, but you got to know how to set this up and be able to activate it and position yourself accordingly. Sol and Chronos can be a threat, especially to a lot of physical ADC hunters, as they deal magic damage, and they work really nicely with other supports such as like a Fafnir. Moving on to the 4th position, I feel it belongs to Neath right now. She's back and she's strong, so I'm just going to go ahead and briefly talk about her abilities. When she does the backflip or kills any enemy god, she puts a broken weave on the ground. This activates a secondary effect on her abilities. Spirit Arrow. This is going to be your main clear, minion wave clear, and arguably the best clear for any ADC hunter in the game. When she activates this paired up with a broken weave, what will happen is she'll root them and gain an additional 100% of the damage. This hurts. I mean, especially if you get rooted. Ouch. Unravel. This also works very well for Neath, and due to the fact that she can potentially heal herself from this. As you can see, it does a lot. It does damage, attack speed debuff, it does a heal. That's a lot. I mean, use it often, use it when you can, get that heal back, sustain longer. Backflip is going to be her escape. Very good, very good. She applies a weave on the ground as she backflips. She does damage and slows. I mean, what more can you ask for? But I feel like her biggest threat out of her kit is her ultimate. It's a global ult. Anybody that's below half health could potentially die from this. It's a snipe from across the map. It's amazing. 90-second cooldown. Watch out. This becomes a threat. When Neath is on the battlefield and you're below half health, watch out. That's a threat. You know that she's aiming for you. Take cover. Third position, I feel, goes to Cinque. Cinque right now, I feel, is very, very good. Her potential is still unexplored, I feel, by a lot of players, but she's definitely up there. She's probably the best rotating ADC hunter right now, due to the fact of her passive. And when you activate her passive, you'll know because you'll be flying in the air from the fountain, and you'll be able to fly up in the air and choose whichever lane you want to go to, or every spot on the map. Now you can't travel all the way across the map, but you can travel a fair distance. This gives her the ability to rotate often. You go to your lane, you clear it out, you're good, you're ahead. All you gotta do is teleport back to your fountain, maybe go back and get the camps again, or help mid lane, whatever. Your rotation is gonna be awesome with her passive. Use it often. Persistent Gust is a great way for her to get that potential poke or knock people up, get that hard CC. She can also gain a attack speed buff when she walks over it. You can use it to juke people, throw it right where you are as you're being chased and people will be knocked up. It's good. It does pretty good damage too. Explosive Bolts is nice. This allows her to store 3 explosive bolts in her kit, and they do increase critical chance and AoE damage. Agility, they actually buff this so that's more fluid now. Her whole kit's a lot more fluid. But agility, when you pair this with Persistent Gust, you get some nice secondary effects. You'll get an immunity to basic attack movement penalties, and that's 6 seconds long. And you'll get an increase to attack speed. I mean, you can chase down a lot of gods that are running away. Or you can be very evasive, depending on the situation. And then her ultimate. They actually increased the startup on this to basically 0 seconds, I believe. So there's no initial delay like there used to be. And you can just use this at any time you want, potentially getting that kill or escaping people or just messing up somebody's day in the lane. It's really good. It's fun to use. You get 2 seconds before you get to land at a ground target location after you use it, so you can position yourself accordingly. A very fun god to use, and if you like to rotate often, this is definitely the god to pick up. So, second position, I want to arguably give to Hu Yi. Now, Hu Yi's always been strong due to the mark of the Golden Crow, as it allows you to just burst down anybody that gets marked. But I feel like he has a learning curve. Knowing how to use Ricochet and be able to get those double and triple ricochets is where it's at. That's what's going to maximize his potential, and that's where the learning curve comes in. That's why I kind of put him in the second position, because he's kind of hard to use or to learn those angles with his Ricochet. But aside from that, his Ricochet does a lot of damage. You mark somebody, hit him with Ricochet, stuns them. You can follow up with whatever you want, maybe the ultimate or get some basic attacks. It does a lot of damage. Dive Bomb is like Neath, is a leap where he gumps up in the air and you can go behind walls or whatever, or follow up. That's somebody on the mark of the Golden Crow, and it does damage when you land on him, so that hurts. But his ultimate is a lot of fun. His ultimate, you can send down 9 crashing suns, and it's just basically 9 AoE damaging suns. Um, cool combo is you do the ultimate, mark somebody that's getting hit by the ultimate, ricochet them so they don't move anywhere, they get stunned. Dive bomb them if you want to get more damage and just finish them off with some basics. That's a dead god. Sun Touched is what helps out his kit a tremendous amount, especially against other ADC hunters, which are building crit or crit often. As you can see, he can't be critically hit again for 3 seconds. So, overall, very strong god. Still is very strong. If you can use his ricochet, get those triple ricochets, he definitely is top tier. But I'm going to give my first position to Rama. Rama, I feel, is a lot easier to use than Hu Yi. They buffed his Astral Strike. They increased the time slowed on it. The Astral Strike by itself does a lot of damage. Basically, when you get 5 arrows in your holster, you have the ability to use 5 Astral Strikes. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of slowing. Um, it definitely messes up a lot of supports and other ADCs in the lane. You can clear minions quicker with it. You can basically cause a lot of havoc and make your support day a lot easier. Pick Me Up is basically it's just an increase of attack speed. You can pair it with Astral Strike and get that chance to get the arrow pickup. But I see more often than not, you just want to use Astral Strike, save the mana, and then use that maybe the attack speed increase when you're getting in that 1v1 situation or you need to kill that support that's trying to run away. His Rolling Salt, this is like a dash. It's got a cripple on it, so note that the cripple allows you to negate any escape that they might have. If you can dash to them or land the arrow after using the dash, you will cripple them and be able to pursue or act accordingly. So just take note of that. It's a really evasive ability for him. This allows him to not be hit by a lot of different things if you can use it correctly. Dash out of the way. Position is key, of course, but it's a lot easier to use than most people think. His passive, again, I just want to mention this, that this generates an arrow. So if you're having trouble getting those arrows back for your Astral Strike to be ready, all you gotta do is land your basics on things and he starts to generate arrows quicker. But his ultimate is awesome. If you can land his ultimate, which takes practice, it's 3 potential snipes that you can get when you jump up in the air, and it increases in damage, especially on the 3rd hit, which is 100%. But the hardest part about it is landing the AoE as they decrease in size. So you're going to be hitting your target, you'll see the AoE start to decrease. It just takes practice though. Anybody can learn it. I feel like he's a lot easier to learn than Hu Yi, because you got to learn those ricochets. But a very fun god and very rewarding, especially if you can learn his kit. These are my top 5 gods for the Hunter ADC role in Smite. I'm going to be putting out more videos for warriors, support, assassins, and another mage video. Tell me what you guys think about your top 5 or any comments. I'd appreciate it. Peace out.